Hey, welcome in everyone to Dom Time. The issue still churns forward, illegal immigration, all the things that come out of it, employment, cost, what America's all about. Some of the biggest players in Washington, people like Marco Rubio, the gang of 8 senators that are involved in this, it's still proceeding forward, and I think will come to a head despite all the other scandals and all the other things that are going on. Joining us tonight to talk about this is someone who appears on 1210 Radio, Channel 6, and also writes every Friday for the Philadelphia Daily News. She's also an immigration attorney. Christine Flowers joins us, and we'd love to take your calls. Where do you want this to go? You've heard some of the things that I see as problematic here, but we'd love to hear what you want to happen around this. Obviously, as Christine said just a couple moments ago, system is broken as far as the overload of this, as far as case by case. But I would argue this makes it worse, the whole situation we're dealing with. I want to take a look at one part and see what you think. There is a fairness issue here of kids that were brought here illegally. Pennsylvania now, the bill is moving forward, the DREAM Act in Pennsylvania. New Jersey, it has moved forward, I think, even further. I don't support it. I feel for these kids. In the role that you're in, you see the kids in this situation too. Is a DREAM Act fair where they would get the in-state tuition rate for college education?
I think from a fairness perspective, if you look at all the different classes of undocumented illegal aliens, you have to feel for the children more than any others, because for the vast majority of those kids that you're talking about were brought here before the age of 15. Many of them before the age of 3, 4, 5. They had no choice. Now, I understand that people are saying, well, it doesn't make any difference. They're still here illegally. But there was no scienter. There was no desire on their part to cross the border. Now, you have people here who have grown up in the United States, who have no accent when they speak, who are American citizens in all respects except for the fact that they are legally not
right. So
entitled
people call
to live
me all
in
the time, and I
United
agree with
States.
them, Christine. If we're sitting in New Jersey and you're trying to go to a Pennsylvania school, you have to pay the Pennsylvania rate. You don't get the in-state tuition rate. So we're not going to, these kids are American citizens, fine, but they are not, if we do this, we encourage more of this. It becomes more of a magnet.
I agree. I think that you have to, I mean, when they become legalized, if this law passes and they are legalized, then they should be treated no differently from someone who was born and raised in the United States. But I agree with you, there shouldn't be a jump ahead, putting the cart before the horse, saying that, well, because they're here, before we even have a law in place, we should not allow them to have in-state tuition. I mean, the fairness only goes to a certain extent, to a certain point. And I've had numerous clients who can benefit from what is right now called DACA. It's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's that executive order that President Obama put into place. That actually is quite helpful because it gives these individuals the ability to work, get a Social Security number, pay money, taxes into the system, and they're legally documented. They are not legal. They are not legal in the sense of having a green card, and they'll never be able to get their green card based on DACA.
Okay.
But at least we can document who they are, where they are, and the vast majority of these kids are going to school. They are here because they're going to school, and then they want to contribute back to this economy and this society. And you know what the interesting thing is? These are the immigrants that most want to contribute to this community and this society because they grew up in the United States. They grew up with an American ethos.
Is it your sense, because you deal with this on a day-to-day basis, so you're saying that by and large they want to be Americans, it's not just a job, an opportunity?
Absolutely. This generation that I see, many of them are between the ages of 16 and 30, because you have to be under the age of 31 to be able to qualify for DACA. They are, for all intents and purposes, they consider themselves they consider themselves Americans. They don't consider themselves citizens because that's a legal term. They consider themselves Americans, and they are very proud of this country. Many of them have no memory whatsoever of living in Mexico, Guatemala. Many of them come from, obviously, from Central and South America.
Okay. Coming up, I want to talk cost. The Heritage Foundation, which is a very conservative think tank, has come out with a study talking about trillions of dollars in cost. If this 872-page document goes through, there'll be amendments, there'll be fights, there'll be back and forth. And it reminds me of Obamacare, that it's very even difficult to know where this will turn out. Love to take your calls too. You can get in right now at 866-472-8868. Dom Giordano with Christine Flowers talking what's on the horizon around the biggest problem, if not the biggest, one of the biggest problems we face, illegal immigration and trying to fix a broken system. That's straight ahead.